Hello and welcome to this week's video. My name is Triza Kuka. I'm the lead coach at Pinnacle Executive Coaching. At Pinnacle Executive Coaching, our mission is to influence personal and corporate cultures. Today, let me tell you a little bit just about that. I looked around and I saw that if you reflect on life, you'll find that our daily habits form our characters, and our characters eventually form culture. And today, globally, business leaders recognize that culture is a key driver of business outcomes. You know, there's one famous leadership guru. He's called Peter Drucker. He wrote a quote that says that culture eats strategy for breakfast. So it implies that no matter how much you can put up strategies, culture will actually determine your success. And that's why leaders today focus on their culture. And leadership is a number one influence of culture. So if we can get our leaders to do the right thing, to be equipped well, they can be able to develop the right culture that is needed for an organization or a business entity to scale up. And that's why I'm here for you. As an executive coach, my mission is to empower you as a leader to scale up your leadership. So let's look at what we mean when we say leaders adjust their sails. We're going to look at a few strategies that leaders use to adjust their sails when things, are tough in business, which eventually always comes around. We are always facing challenges as leaders. So we look at how leaders refuse to view challenges in emotional terms, how leaders are proactive, how leaders face conflict squarely, how leaders collaborate, handle their own internal personal crises, how they are objective, how they need to get rest, and how they feed and act on feedback in order to succeed. So the first one is that leaders really refuse to view challenges in emotional terms for those who are successful. I once had a friend in campus who was having a really tough time. He thought that a problem that he was encountering was because the lecturer really just didn't want him to succeed, and it was a personal issue. So he, of course, interpreted it in an emotional way and just resigned to fate. Whatever comes my way, whatever grade I'll get, this is it. But what you need to know is that the world is rough, brutal. Business is usually cutthroat. And for us to succeed as leaders, we need to be able to rise up. Sometimes we might look and see it's as if good people who are doing the right things, following the right protocols, have bad things just coming along their way, one after the other. But people who are doing the wrong things sometimes seem as if they are getting a smoother way. But leaders have to work in integrity. What we should know is that no matter how much rough the world is, and no matter how much bad things come our way, we can choose how we respond to it. This is the only thing we have control over. We might not choose what curveballs life throws our way, but we can choose how we can be able to respond to it. If we take ownership over this, we can be able to gain control, and then we'll be in a better position to effect changes that we desire to see. So what we need to do is that we should stop fantasizing about how things should be, but we should focus on what actually works. Once we get a clear understanding of how the best way we can do something and it would really work well, then we need now to work on how to make that truth work for us. Don't always take it personally that, someone just wants to embarrass me, someone wants to humiliate me, someone wants to deny me a chance. No, just start thinking, how can I respond to this challenge? If I need to show capacity, my competencies, let your competencies now shine and speak for you. Okay, what we need to do as leaders is to recognize what challenges really are, so that we are better able to respond to them. Challenges are can be a blessing in disguise. They can push us. They can push us to be more resourceful. They can push us to be creative. They can push us to be imaginative. At the very least, it will push us to change the way we would normally think about the things that we face, so that now we can become consistent winners and victors in life. So I challenge you today, if you're a leader and you're facing a challenging situation, adjust yourself by refusing to view it in an emotional term, but look at it as a challenge for what it truly is, one that you can keep jumping over, face it, and get to the next one. And you'll see that your capacity as a leader greatly improves. The second thing that we need to look and work at as a leader when you're facing challenges is be proactive. As a leader, we need to be always on the proactive side. Sometimes waiting can be a good strategy, it might be a correct strategy, but let it not be infinite, let it not be prolonged. If it is indefinite, people or prolonged, your teammates, your business associates can begin to feel nervous. They can wonder, are you really exercising the control you need to be exercising at this point? Remember, as a leader, you can also think creatively. Every crisis, every challenge is always double-edged. It has a danger element to it. It has an opportunity element to it. So you need to be able to analyze and see how you can get to the opportunity side of things first. So you have to be proactive in order to achieve that. The other tactic that you need to have as a leader is to be able to know that you need to face things squarely. Face conflict when it comes squarely and with courage. So, too many people, leaders included, act as if conflict doesn't exist. People who like sweeping things under the carpet because they find it difficult or frightening to deal with it in a real sense. As a result, the conflict only grows worse. And by the time it erupts, wow, it's a volcano. It can be impossible sometimes to resolve. But you need to realize as a leader, if you can face conflict early enough, most of the times it can be resolved in a way that will be beneficial for majority of the people involved. And it's a function of leadership. As a leader, you need to have that capacity to face a conflict, name it, and deal with it. So develop courage, and you can learn more about how to do it. As a coach, I'm equipped to empower you to learn how to have courageous conversations, so you can reach out for support if this is an area that you need to learn more about. The other thing as a leader that you need to know is that you can be able to collaborate in the face of challenges. Collaboration creates synergy. Let others know what you're doing. Get support from them and also give support to them. Work with them to the extent that you can in order to achieve goals. Because as a leader, you always have to think of the bigger picture at the end of the day. If we have this vision, we have these goals that we need to accomplish. I need to accomplish them in my business or in my corporate team. I need to be able to have that capacity to go out and actually be able to get it. And if I need to work with people, I need to bring them on board faster. If it's my team that I need to develop so that we can work with better synergy, then you need to work on it and get on it with it. The other thing that you need to do is retain objectivity. The ability to accurately identify the positives and the negatives in any situation and be able to respond appropriately will help you to be a good leader. But if you don't have that capacity, if you're unable to do it, you will create serious leadership problems. So you need to be able to remain objective, analyze issues for what they really are. Then you need to be able to face any internal crisis that come to you personally and seek help wherever needed. You can get sick as a leader. You can encounter loss. You can lose a loved ones. When these situations come, they can actually impact your capacity to lead, because we are human and we get affected when you have that personal crisis. A coach might be able to help you to gain a perspective on the issues you're facing on a personal level that you might not be able to share out with your business associates, with your teammates at work. But you need to reach out for that help so that you can gain it, and then you can be able to build capacity to succeed. The other thing that you need to watch out for is that you are balanced. You need to be able to get rest in whatever you are doing. A leader with burnout cannot be productive, cannot be able to adjust the sails when the going gets tough or the waves come in huge leaps and bounds. So leader burnout is a product of being overwhelmed by the workload, frustrations, stress, time demands on the position. You can reach a point as a leader where you no longer care about the vision or the work of the group or anything. You just want to go home. And you need to be able to prevent yourself from getting there so that you can have the capacity to adjust whenever challenges come. Once it was in the news, we heard about a senior government official who worked day and night, literally Sunday to Sunday, without breaks for years. And one day he just dropped and had a heart attack. You don't need to work yourself to that extent. You need to be able to take breaks. You need to be able to get rest so that you can recharge. And then when a challenge comes as a leader, you can be able to quickly arise and move on to the next thing. And a coach can also be able to help you to know what are your limits, what are the challenges, where you have really stretched yourself, and help you to see why you need to take rest. So my final call to you as a leader, if you really want to succeed, you need to learn the art of receiving feedback and acting on it. And one of the ways that you can be able to work on this is getting 360-degree feedback. I'm telling you, it's a very effective way to have a deep look at yourself. A leader can be only successful if you really know who you are. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And where you need to go so that now you can work concretely towards getting there. A 360 feedback, because you get feedback from several sources, it's a very effective way of now really getting to know what is the true thing. You've heard it said that if you hear the same thing from a lot of different sources, it's probably true. Act on it. If you get feedback from a friend, a colleague, your supervisor, someone you meet externally, outside, if they all say the same thing about you, it most likely is true. For me, I think one of the issues that came up in my 360-degree feedback is ambition. I'm ambitious. And I would hear it. I would hear my husband say, "You're quite ambitious." My colleagues would say, "I'm ambitious." Many other people would say, "I'm ambitious." And if all of them are repeating the same thing, then most likely it's very true. Even if I might sometimes not think like that, but it is true. So as a leader, you need to believe what is said, that leaders feed on breakfast, feed on feedback for breakfast. They feed on it and they act on it. Because getting feedback is one thing. Acting on it is actually the thing that will make the turn for you as a leader. Because if you hear that you're too critical, you might need to find out, why is being too critical an issue in my leadership? If it causes your team to be discouraged, then you need to find how you can be able to sandwich your feedback. You can tap them on their backs and tell them, "Well done for this and this." And then you can insert the criticism and say, "I would prefer that you improve on area A, B, and C." And then lastly, you can tell them, "You are good, you're great, I believe in you." And your feedback will be more appreciated and received by your team. And the thing that you want them to work on could easily be done and accomplished. So I would encourage you to reach out. I am a certified coach who has tools for helping you to do the 360 feedback, very scientific tools from the leadership circle. Reach out if you would need to hear how you can be able to get this feedback, so that you can equip yourself to be able to put yourself in a position where you can adjust your sails if challenges come about in leadership. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's edition. Remember to follow me on all my social media platforms. Check my website and drop me a mail. Let me know how we can engage and discuss more about this. Give this video a like and share it. Thank you, and see you next week. Bye.